Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another meal prep video. So today I'm prepping two different lunches. I'm going to be doing a white chicken chili and then I'm also going to be doing a Moroccan stew with red quinoa. So I'll show you how I put both of those together. I'm also going to do some veggie dip and make some cornbread muffins. I'm using Amanda Seipert's recipe, only I'm adding in jalapenos as well. So I'm going to be making those, cutting up some cucumbers and making some hard-boiled eggs, and that'll be my prep today. So let's go jump into the meal prep. So since the chili is going to take about 3 hours to cook in the crock pot, I'm going to start with it. So the recipe I'm using will be linked below in the description box. It's one I just found on Pinterest. So I'm going to add some chicken breast to my slow cooker. I'm topping those with some diced onion and some minced garlic. I'm also adding to that a can of Great Northern beans that have been rinsed and drained. I'm also going to add in a can of hot diced green chilies, a can of corn that has been also drained and rinsed, and then also adding in some chicken bone broth. And next up, I'm going to add in some spices. So I'm going to add in some salt and pepper, some oregano, some cumin, some chili powder, and some cayenne pepper. I never measure spices like this in stews, so the measurements, of course, will be in the description box with the recipe. So you want to cook this on high for 3 hours or on low for 8 hours. Also, I cut this recipe in half, so I'm only making 4 servings. I believe the original recipe makes 8, so I'll be having 2 servings of this for lunch this week. So while the chili is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start my other lunch for the week, which is a Moroccan chickpea stew. So this stew is 0 smart points. So in a saucepan, I'm going to saute up some diced onions. I'm going to saute these up until they start to turn brown. So now that my onions have browned up, I'm going to go ahead and add in some minced garlic, a can of chickpeas that have been drained and rinsed, some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add in some spices. I'm adding in a half of a teaspoon of turmeric, a half of a teaspoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and a pinch each of cinnamon and cayenne pepper. I did measure these out because this is the first time I've made this type of recipe, and these are spices I don't use very often. So I'm going to go ahead and cook that for a couple of minutes to blend the seasonings up. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, 1/3 cup of water, and 1½ tablespoons of tomato paste. And I'm going to go ahead and simmer that on low for about 20 minutes, and then I need to cook it until the liquid starts to reduce. To go along with the stew, I'm going to have some quinoa. So to make the quinoa, I'm putting 1 cup of the red quinoa into a pan. I'm using quinoa that has already been rinsed and washed. And to that, I'm going to add in 2 cups of chicken bone broth. I'm going to bring that to a boil, cover it, and then lower the heat to simmer and cook for about 15 minutes. To go with the chicken chili, I'm going to make some cornbread muffins. I saw this recipe on Amanda Seipert's channel, so I'm going to be using her recipe. I'm making one little change to it. So I'm going to take 1 cup of self-rising cornmeal, and to that I'm adding in 1 can of cream-style corn and 2 egg whites. I'm going to stir that up really good, and then I'm going to add in 1 jalapeno that I've chopped up to the batter, and this is going to add some extra spice. So I'm going to go ahead and bake these in my Pampered Chef brownie pan at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. These muffins come out to 3 smart points each. Now I'm going to whip up a batch of ranch veggie dip. I'm adding in 4 ounces of fat-free cream cheese to my bowl, and to that I'm adding in 8 ounces of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and a package of buttermilk ranch seasoning mix. I'm going to give that a good stir. This makes 6 servings for 1 smart point each serving. To go with the veggie dip, I'm cutting up a cucumber, which I store in a glass container that keeps it fresh all week. Now I'm going to go ahead and start my hard-boiled eggs. As usual, I cook them in my pressure cooker. This week I did cook them for 6 minutes because last week they were just not quite done enough. So I did 6 minutes in my pressure cooker, let it release for 5 minutes, and then kept them in an ice bath for, it actually ended up being about 10 minutes in the ice bath because I would just let them sit there while I was cleaning up my kitchen. So now it's time to start assembling some meal prep containers. I am taking 2/3 cup of the red quinoa and putting that in my container, and I'm adding in half of the Moroccan stew mixture. So this meal prep is 5 smart points, which is just for the quinoa because the stew is 0. To finish up the white chicken chili, I am removing the chicken breasts from the crock pot and putting them in a bowl. Now I'm going to shred them up using my hand mixer. This is the best way to shred up chicken, by the way. This is such a good tip that I saw from several people who do meal prep. I am putting the chicken back into the crock pot and adding in 2 ounces of fat-free cream cheese and a 1/4 cup of fat-free half and half. Now I'm turning my pot up to high and I'm going to cook it for about 15 minutes or so to allow the cream cheese to melt and the stew will thicken up a little bit. So now that my stew is done, it is time to put them in the meal prep containers. I have 1 corn muffin in each of the containers, and to that I'm adding in 1.5 cups of the chicken chili to each container. The chicken chili is 1 smart point for each 1.5 cup serving, so each meal prep is 4 smart points, 1 for the chili and 3 for the cornbread muffins. So there was today's meal prep. I cannot wait to have that Moroccan stew. I've never had that before. It smelled amazing. The spices, oh my goodness. I did taste a little bit of the broth and it is so good. I cannot wait to have that with the quinoa. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like meal prep videos, I will have a playlist over here or over here, whichever side it's on. I'll have a playlist of all my meal prep videos, and please subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.